We begin the hour with the reality Donald Trump is trying to live in versus the economic reality Americans feel more and more each day, and the political reality now confronting his party. The disconnect has the GOP more worried than ever amid growing calls to shift their strategy on affordability ahead of the midterms. As American wallets get thinner, the essentials stretch budgets, and layoffs hit a post-pandemic high. But much like his predecessor, the president is digging in and trying to paint a very different picture. Writing this weekend that prices are, quote, coming substantially down, adding, quote, Biden caused the affordability crisis, I'm fixing it along with everything else. But according to a new survey, economic confidence is at a 17-month low. 68% of Americans now believe the economy is getting worse. 63% say it's a bad time to get a job. Meantime, Trump's focus was elsewhere last night with the recipients of this year's Kennedy Center honors and touting his push to remodel the White House to his liking.
We're bringing the White House back room by room, but you had a lot of other presidents that weren't into that. I've always been into it. I have two jobs. I have a construction job, which is really like relaxation for me because I've been doing it all my life. But I actually get great relaxation out of fixing the White House and fixing the Kennedy Center. We're putting up large slabs of marble in a couple of the great halls, and it's already, we did some testing, it's made it as good as it is, it's made it even better. Marble can do that.
All right, let's break this all down with my excellent panel. Anna Palmer from Punchbowl News, the Dispatch's Jonah Goldberg, and Zolan Kano-Youngs from the New York Times. Good morning to you all. Happy Sunday. Jonah, the president says he has two jobs. Mm-hmm. A lot of Republicans will say you have one job, focus on the economy and affordability, but Trump is just unable to acknowledge people are feeling pain right now and wants people to believe the reality is different than what they're feeling. Can he actually make that case to the American public?
Well, first of all, I think we got to get some marble in here.
Some gold columns, please.
I think, look, he has a long history of thinking he can jawbone reality to his liking, right? I mean, going back to his depositions where he said his net worth depended on how he felt that way. He is a product of the power of positive thinking and the prosperity gospel. And that attitude has worked pretty well for him politically over the years. The problem is that it can't work. Americans live, we talk about the macroeconomy. Each American lives in a microeconomy. And Joe Biden got in trouble for telling people not to believe their lying eyes, not to believe the headlines. But people are actually experts in their own economic situation, and telling them that they're falling for a hoax is political malpractice.
It's because, and the polls bear this out. I mean, poll after poll shows Trump's position on the economy is deteriorating pretty rapidly among the American public. This is just the Marquette poll from between July and November. The approved-disapproved number, 43% back in July. Oh, not good back in July. Even worse now, 36%. And the disapproved number in November, 64% disapprove. Zolan, you cover the White House. Does the president grasp how underwater he is on this issue?
I think he's increasingly frustrated over the rising criticism that he's getting on this issue. Grasp is something else. When you're calling something a con job, I don't know if you're really grasping it. I do feel like this is deja vu in a bit, talking about a president responding to economic frustrations of the American people by basically not empathizing with them, by saying, wait, the economy is actually very good. And by the way, the president, a large part of his campaign was attacking Biden over that problem. So now you've exposed yourself to this issue. You ran on the economy, you ran on affordability, and on helping the working class. That's a part of at least a stated populist message. And now as you see frustrations over grocery prices, and the White House in turn say, well, look at energy prices, or look at all we've done on inflation, even though people are still frustrated about inflation. That's where you get those poll numbers, right? That's where you get that. There is frustration in the White House over this. There is frustration mostly that Republicans, there have been some Republicans that are also calling on the president to focus on this issue more, but that hasn't translated to a message of actually meeting voters where the frustrations are. I do think it's interesting that we're getting to the point of a presidency where people are starting to say, where his aides are starting to say, don't worry, he's about to travel.
Yeah, yeah.
And talk about the economy.
Yeah, right.
I feel like we hit that point all the time.
This is deja vu all over again. I mean, speaking of those Republican and concerns, and yes, he is going to Pennsylvania on Tuesday. One Congressman, Jeff Van Drew, told my colleague Sarah Ferris this past week about the concerns among the GOP and Trump. Van Drew said he talked to Trump. He said, I would love him to go back to driving around in the garbage truck, going to McDonald's, go to a supermarket, go to a farm. That's when he's at his best. Next year, we got to concentrate, the American people first. Next year.
I mean, I think it's really difficult. When you talk to members of Congress, they are looking at the election in the midterms saying, what are we going to run on? We've seen this frustration time and again. House Republicans in particular basically having a lot of no-vote confidence in Speaker Mike Johnson because they feel like they need to be doing something, not just passing, NIL legislation, actually being able to bring something home. And this last special election in Tennessee, Manu, you know it as well as I do. I mean, they are nervous because they see this as being a massive problem for them.
Yeah, and this is why. I mean, look at just, the American people are feeling it in different ways. And this is from a Gallup survey about holiday gift budgets. People are spending to anticipate less money this holiday season, spending about roughly $230 less than last season. So people are feeling it immediately, especially this Christmas season. And Trump, when he was asked about all this week, this is how he messaged the concerns over affordability and the Republican agenda.
The word affordability is a con job by the Democrats. I watched today where they have a race going on right now in Tennessee, and this woman goes, affordability. They're the ones that caused the problem. The prices were way high. We're bringing the prices down. But they're like scam artists. They're I call them con men and women.
Con men.
Yeah, look, again, you can't tell people you're imagining things. Look, I will say there's a bit of a point to his thing about affordability insofar as there are lots of things where the prices are improving. The problem is, we've seen this many times in American politics. We come up with these different words and phrases to describe political or economic anxiety, right? Economic insecurity was one a long time ago. It's the economy, stupid, whatever. There's a lot of things happening in the economy right now that are making people feel anxious, and affordability just is a better word than most for capturing it, but it doesn't necessarily get at every aspect of it. And the problem Trump has, it's very rare for presidents to actually do something specific which gives them complete ownership of the economy. And his Liberation Day tariffs, where he said, we are now transforming the economy, we're making the economy better. It's very easy for Democrats to say, even when it's not true, all of this is because of what he's doing.
And don't you think, I mean, truly, though, the problem for the president and the White House right now is they have been saying this is the Biden economy. Well, at some point, it's the Trump economy, right. And he promised it was going to be a different story under him. And as much as he doesn't want to, wants to call affordability a scam, it is the word of this election cycle, and he can't run away from it.
Yeah, and one thing, while the economy, of course, is going to be the driving issue come in the midterms, there's another way Trump is trying to hang on to power, at least have Republicans do in the House, and it's this gerrymandering wars. We're seeing district by district, state by state. In Indiana, it is getting really, really ugly. The state Senate controlled a supermajority of Republicans coming back tomorrow into session. Trump right now, at least 10 Republican senators have said they will not vote for this in the United States Senate. Trump is calling these senators out by name just over the last day, calling them out, putting their names out on social media, saying we're going to go out, essentially threatening to primary them, defeat him in the election. But it's getting even worse for some of these members who have said that they have gotten swatting incidents in their houses and bomb threats, violent incidents because of all this for 2 more Republican seats, which is the ultimate goal here, so they can have 9 seats, a clean sweep of House Indiana seats, all to the GOP. It's ugly now.
It is getting ugly. You've had public officials in Indiana say that they're getting doxxed, as a result of this pressure. But even with this pressure, calls from J.D. Vance as well, Trump on social media, you are still seeing some senators oppose this, and it's going to be interesting to see how it ends up. All of this is because of the anxiety over the potential losses that the incumbency could have with the forthcoming midterms. So you're seeing an end route trying to redraw the maps here to gain a political edge.
Do you think Trump is going to win here in Indiana? I mean, he tends to win all these fights with Republicans.
We'll see. They seem like they are holding strong. I mean, the proof will be in the pudding. What happens this next week? But Indiana, I think, to me, is a larger message of Trump losing control of the fear or the mantle that say, like, people want to be with winners, and people in Indiana Senate House right now, Republicans don't see Trump as the winner here.
Yeah, and we'll see. The redistricting rules right now, our projections right now is about 12 GOP seats versus 12 Democrat seats. The Democrats have tried to fight back on this, but there's some other states that have not made a decision how to proceed. So huge implications for the midterms.